real quick. So hello, everybody. My name is Joseph Tittel, a.k.a. Spiritman JT. I am bringer of love, light, truth, and wisdom. Be sure to subscribe down below. Make sure you click the all so that you can get notifications. I am live here from Sedona, Arizona in the heat of the day, 2:40 p.m. on April 13th, 2021. And I got lots to talk to you about. I haven't been here yet this month with predictions and updates. I've gotten tons of messages, emails, all kinds of stuff from you all, which I greatly appreciate. All the feedback and everything that you give to me. I am grateful. I am forever grateful to you all. So, without moving around too much, I have quite a list I wanted to talk to you about. Sorry that my internet connection seems to not want to work today. I don't know why. I am in a good place. I have great reception, great camera. I have great everything, but it just doesn't seem to want to work. So I don't know, but let's record this for backup just in case. Let me record this for backup just in case. There we go. We're now recording. All right? Yes. All right. So today again is April 13th, 2013. My name is Spiritman Joseph Tittel, and I got a lot to share with you today. Lots of things to talk about. To start today with London bridges. Remember me singing that little you with London bridges falling down. You know, as many of you know, I predicted that this would be the year that Prince Philip would pass. I even went to bring up the point that it would happen in the month of April, and it did. And I don't know if you all know, you probably saw it online somewhere once upon a time by now, but the nines that are related and connected to this whole thing with Prince Philip, the nines, he was 99 years old. He died the 99th day of the year. He died on the 9th of the month, which happens to be a 9 month in universal numerology because we're in a 5 year, and 5 plus 4 month is a 9. So it was nines all the way across the board. Flip that over, you got your triple sixes. Yeah, triple sixes. The number of the beast, as we say. And the beast is rampant. And that is only the beginning of my prediction of London bridges falling down. Folks, there's a lot more that's going to happen with the whole London bridges falling down and the whole mess that we're in, because we are in a mess. I'm going to set you down over here, chat with you. It's much better that way. There we go. We are in a whole mess, folks. A mess. This world is in a mess. I also talked about in my predictions, and I know for a fact that I am the only one that have mentioned this to the specifics when I did my map scrying. Because you all know when I do my map scrying, I pull up the map, I gaze into it. It's like scrying into a crystal ball or scrying into a piece of black. This would do. I scry into a mirror or into a map. And when I did the scrying into the map, the last thing I brought up was that there would be volcanic activity in the Caribbean islands. We have not had a volcanic activity in the Caribbean islands since 1979, or at least the one particular volcano that's erupting over and over again in St. Vincent Island in the Caribbean islands right now, or the Caribbean islands, however you want to pronounce it. And that hasn't erupted since 1979. I talked about this in my predictions. I talked about the unsettling of the earth and how the earth is shifting drastically right now, folks. The earth is shifting on drastic levels, which is going to cause things to happen all over the planet, not just, unusual places. It's unusual for there to be a volcano in the Caribbean islands. It's common to have it up in Alaska. It's common to have it down there in Hawaii, but you're going to see more activity in Hawaii. So my friends there in Hawaii, please prepare yourself and brace yourselves for this summer season, because you are going to have a summer season that they will instill fear into you through tsunami warnings, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and so forth. And we remember, years ago, I predicted the earthquake or the volcano in Hawaii, which literally, if you look at it from GPS map, the whole part of the island's gone. That whole volcano just took everything with it. Well, we're going to see more activity in that area again this year. Let me bring up my notes because I did make up some notes here. But I wanted to talk about that St. Vincent volcano, the London bridges in Prince Philip, and the nines connected to that. I want to thank you all for your chat cash, and I will be launching the new Awakening Your Spirit community within the next couple days. So keep an eye out for that. You can follow me on Facebook or all my social media down below, and I will post that as soon as I have all the tier levels organized and put out there, which I'm working on. So don't go look for me on Subscribestar and subscribe now, because you're going to end up subscribing to a level that doesn't quite exist yet. I had to wait for approval, and it did get approved. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the 4 earthquakes that happened in Los Angeles, California. I also talked about earlier this year the earth beginning to shake when it comes to specifically California and the West Coast. All the way up, though, all the way up the West Coast to the Oregon and Washington, all the way up to Alaska. Lots of activity happening there. The whole ring of fire is very active. We just had the first rebirth super new moon cycle yesterday. It came in at 10:30 p.m. on Monday night here or Sunday night in Arizona, which would have been 1:30 in the morning yesterday for y'all on the East Coast of the United States. That is a super rebirth new moon, which will bring with it lots of shifts with weather and so forth, which will intensify as we get towards the end of the month, towards the actual full moon cycle, which I can't see my calendar right now, or I would tell you. But when we get to the next full moon, you're going to see major activity with earthquakes. And again, tsunami warnings come. And the tidal wave, I don't believe, is going to come until 2023. That over there doesn't want to connect today. It says excellent connection. Make up your mind. So with that, so you're going to have a lot of disruptions. But I also wanted to talk about, because I wanted to go online over the weekend and I didn't have a chance, when they were starting to protest over the shooting of George Floyd and the whole law enforcement that's on trial. And I had a vision of them conducting another police shooting that would cause major rioting and so forth. And then we had the young man by the name of Dwayne, 20 years old, who was shot, where the police officer said she was reaching for her taser. I'm sorry, folks, but there is a huge difference between a taser and a gun in weight and the way you hold it, the way you do everything. No, you pulled out your gun and you shot that kid. Regardless, that's what you did. You didn't reach for your taser. Your taser's on the opposite side of your belt buckle. So I'm like, just to me, that whole thing is just shady. And that wasn't really necessarily the vision that I had of another black man being shot by a white cop. This was a young man. Yes, it did happen, but that's not the vision I had. So sadly, there's another one coming. One that's going to be compared to like what happened with George Floyd. It's going to give corporate companies and organizations like BLM the opportunity to begin to burn down our cities. Minneapolis, Minnesota, I just ran into somebody from there, and I'm like, I hope you live far from Minneapolis. They were from Minnesota. I'm like, because that city you can say goodbye to. They're going to burn it down. And, you know, you're a wonderful president for y'all that voted for this moron. He's going to let it happen, just like the other guy did. They just let them burn down our cities. Doesn't this tell you something, folks? It should tell you a whole lot. It should tell you a whole lot. So also the shootings, the school shootings, the shooting at the mall, which hasn't happened yet, but in a mall session. I talked about a shooting in a music festival, which happened outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, actually a couple months back. But I still see this happening when it comes to Vegas. Vegas comes up really strongly around me. It's going to be something big hitting Vegas, something really big. And shootings are going to become another new norm for the United States and Europe. We're going to see terrorist attacks around Paris. We're going to see explosions around the Eiffel Tower. Lots of terror attacks through England. And it's going to become a new war on terror, like they used to tell us back in the day. But this terror and these shootings and everything that's coming and everything that's been happening is all a product of the Luciferian deep state cabal. These are their plans. So the young man, Dwayne, that got shot, I don't believe that's part of anything. I believe that was just incident that happened that made news, sadly. It's sad. It's not one of their plans. So the vision I had of somebody else being killed in the form of giving me flashbacks of what happened in reference to George Floyd, I see that happening again on a totally different level. And giving reasons for Antifa and others to start to destroy everything. So another thing I wanted to talk to you about. So I see police shootings. As I'm talking to you about this, I have a whole vision of the whole Waco, Texas thing. Do you remember? A lot of you are young and may not remember. Pretty young myself when the whole Waco, Texas thing happened. Look at the size of that fly. Wow, you're gigantic, dude. Go away. Creepy fly. It's probably a little drone watching me. But anyway, Waco, Texas. I have a whole vision of that and the whole burning of it and all and so forth. So I'm going to say that there's a new modern day version of Waco, Texas that's going to happen. Have you all saw what's happening? Speaking of Texas, down at the borders of Texas, have you seen how bad it is? The wall that President Donald Trump built with these big fancy electric gates are now wide open. They opened up these gates and they literally plucked Border Patrol from there. And there was just wide open in Texas. Welcome to New America, where they are going to bum rush us, folks. And they already are. The sex trafficking, the human trafficking, the child trafficking, all the trafficking that's going on coming out of those borders is a disgusting disgrace. And you're not seeing this on your local news. You're not seeing this anywhere unless you go to the right places or talk to people like myself who know about these things, who we have video of this. And I can't talk about any of this the way I want to today. Hello, Fly, you're huge. But that's why when I launch my new platform in the next day or so, come and see me. I got lots of topics I want to talk about that I won't talk about here because I'm almost at the point of my strikes against me. And I don't need any more. But anyway, police shootings, mental illness, and the outcry of mental illness on the planet right now. And these parents, they're literally killing their children. Sadly, you're going to hear more and more about that. You're going to hear more and more about these kids going crazy, shooting people. And again, a lot of it is part of their Luciferian plan, the things that they do and the things they arrange. But at the same time, they have their demons, they do ceremonies, and they have their demons go and do it. And they possess people. What do you hear every time you hear a mass shooting from the shooters? A voice told me to do it. That is a demonic possession. And that's what they do. They don't need to arrange and do this whole plan and with actors and all. They don't even need to do that anymore. They just do ceremony and call on Lucifer, and Lucifer does it for them. Possesses these people. And that's where we're going, folks. I want to talk about the V's. You know, the V's and all the people that are croaking from it. Folks, this is what I want to talk about on my new platform. So come and see me. Come and check me out. For just a couple price of a latte, you can come and be a part of the community and be a part of talking about things that we might not be able to talk about here, as we do on my Zoom platform with my followers and my supporters. But I want to talk about the earth shift because things are shifting. Like I said, big time. We are in the Great Awakening. And the Great Awakening includes everything. It includes body, mind, and spirit. It includes the earth. And the earth is the biggest awakening of all. And we are going to see, this is the 17-year cycle where all the cicadas take over the United States. And they come out right now. Some of you may live in areas where this is happening. I lived in Jersey with my first partner, and we lived in the middle of nowhere. And I remember the whole house was covered in cicadas. We are at that point again where the cicadas are coming out, which again goes back to the locusts in the Bible, which happened last year. If you remember, the locusts traveled across the Middle East and across that part of the globe, devouring all the vegetation, devouring it, already putting them in risk of food starvation and lack of food, which is going to kick in now. These people are going into the starvation period. Folks, I stress to you greatly to start, and I've told you this before, and I was right a year ago when I told you this, over a year ago, but I'm going to tell you again, start stocking up on food. Start growing your own food. I'm so happy that I got all my gardens in. all my vegetables in, and I will learn start canning them in the fall, and stocking up and saving as much food as I can. Rice, anything you could buy large quantities of that will stay good forever. Rice, pasta, sauce, things in jars, not cans, because canned stuff isn't really good for you, actually. Jars. Start stocking up, folks. You're going to need it, because by 2023, there's another house arrest coming. I assure you that that's happening. If they get their way, it's happening by Christmas. They will have you locked up by Christmas. They'll have you locked up before that. They'll have us locked up by the time we get to Thanksgiving. It's all about depriving us from church, from Jesus, from our beliefs, from connecting to the earth, from being out here, enjoying the beautiful sun and the rays of the sun, getting our vitamin D and everything that we get from the sun. So the earth shift, you're going to see major stories break out this summer over record-breaking heats like never before. I mean, death-related heats, droughts, areas of the globe that are going to be devastated with drought, starvation, the failure of crops, and the list goes on and on and on. Stock up now. We're going to see articles and news stories out of the Arctic and large sheets of ice and icebergs literally just breaking off, sheets of ice just breaking off from Iceland. One of these is going to cause tsunami warnings, tidal wave warnings, and may actually even cause issues with tidal waves or tsunamis in Iceland and in Alaska. So all this is yet to come. We go into our next big energy shift on, I believe, May 26th. We go into the next pre-retrograde cycle. I'll have to look at those dates, but I know it's in May. So we still got some time left, folks, to enjoy this big rebirth new moon that we just had. This is all about manifesting, making things happen, making things come to life and come to light. That's why I planted all the rest of my vegetable seeds yesterday for the new moon. Transplanted all my plants. It's a time for growth. It's a time for things to come to life. But we're going to see, again, major earth shift changes coming. We already see it, but it's going to get worse. Another thing is hurricane season this year, folks. It's going to be the worst hurricane season on record. Get prepared. Batten down the hatches. And even if you think you're safe from a hurricane place, think again. Hurricanes are going to start hitting places that they never hit before. New Orleans. My friends down in Louisiana, be safe. Be prepared. Have a way out and an exit out. When they call and tell you that a hurricane could be heading that way, and even when they say, like they did with Hurricane Sandy, oh, it's going the other way. When I said people get off the damn coast, Jersey, get away, and what it do? It turned around and came back. That's coming. So remember that, especially for New Orleans and the Gulf Coast and that whole area. But we're going to see areas of lower parts of California hit with hurricanes, and then the monsoon season that comes to where I am, Arizona. I never got to experience monsoon season because we didn't have one last year at all. No rain. But this year, it's going to be devastating floods, devastating stuff. I wanted to talk about Russia a little bit. Thank you for your chat, Cash. If anybody put that through, I wasn't watching, but thank you. Thank you for the donations that you send through to my PayPal and so forth. Thank you for that. I am forever grateful. I couldn't do this work without you. Russia. Russia, remember the whole Russia conspiracy, the whole Russia collusion crap? That was all a bunch of crap, by the way. If you didn't realize that, it was crap. Well, Russia's been on the down low. You haven't heard about North Korea a lot lately either. Well, they don't want nothing to do with our current president of the United States because our current president of the United States isn't worth a dime. Isn't worth a penny. Isn't even worth a half a penny. So we're going to see things, and I said this in my predictions earlier, things are going to start to get a little erratic, a little staticky with North Korea. That's coming because, Kim Jong-un's sister's running that country. Kim Jong-un is like out the door. Sister's running the country, and she's scared to death. China's controlling everything. So be aware of that. It's really important. And Russia, Ukraine. Russia, as I bring up Russia and I visualize Russia in my mind, I see military preparing, getting ready. Tanks going through these dirt roads, look like deserts and mountains. Reminds me of like pictures of Afghanistan, but at some point in Russia and Ukraine. And I also see problems with India. Russia's going to have its hands full because it's going to want to start one more out of greed for resources. And they're going to end up getting more than one more. And China's going to intervene. And we don't want nothing to do with that. And we would like our president to be replaced before that, or we're going to get sucked right into it, folks. We don't need to get sucked into that. As I'm talking to you, I see these big fires on the top of mountains. It's like literally going right across the top of a mountain, where the mountain looks like a wall of fire. I don't know where this is, but I just had that vision. I don't know if that has to do with Russia, because we were just talking about Russia. And the wall of fire on the mountains has to do with a bombing of some sort or a chemical attack. But I'm going to go with that. I'm definitely going to go with that. Big fires across the top of the mountains, volcano in the background. Yeah, that's got to be what it is. August, the month of August comes up really strongly for me. So August is going to be a detrimental month when it comes to war, Russia, Ukraine, and India, and a few others. Israel, oh, what bullies they are. Israel, the troublemakers they are going to also cause more problems when it comes to the Middle East and trying to start a new war and a new force of control. I told you about the whole freedom bracelet thing over there in Israel. Freedom bracelets. Yeah, we put you on house arrest, but we call it a freedom bracelet because we could put you in jail instead. So therefore, it's a freedom bracelet. Wow, they're sick SOBs. They're all sick. And folks, we need to awaken. This is the Great Awakening. We need to say no. Folks, people are going to die by the millions. You mark my words, by 2023, you're going to see them dropping off like crazy, which is going to put more fear into the population, more fear into the people. And it's all going to start with one thing. You know, those things that I won't talk about and mention on here that begin with that letter. But they're going to make it look like something else. And I have great details to share with you folks that I cannot share here. I will share on my new platform soon about those things, about the disease, the breaks, what's going on in the world. It's important that you know this. I want you to take a little bit of time and type in Google the letter S, the letter P, A, R, the letter S, and the date, time period 2025 to the year 2028. Google that and watch what you find. It was a simulation done by military. That is word for word, even the tweets itself, the hashtags that they used in this simulation. It was just a military simulation of, what if this happens? With fake hashtag, everything. Like they did everything. They covered everything in this. It's a script. Because when you read those hashtags and that plan and that simulation they did years ago, it's the same hashtags they're using now to the T. It's creepy, folks. It's very creepy. And we need to awaken. We need to say no. We need to accept others and love one another. But people need to get out of their houses because, people have become too comfortable with being inside. They're not getting sun. They're not getting their vitamin D. They're not taking their vitamins, and they're in fear. They're watching too much television. They even want to get rid of that Tucker guy, from what I hear. I don't watch it, so I really could care less. Apparently, something he said didn't resonate. Anything you say that touches on truth, and again, I don't know nothing about it. I just heard that. But he does great pieces. I will say last year he did some really great pieces. But now they're banning, get rid of him. They're going to get rid of you too. They're going to get rid of me. They already did on Patreon because they don't want you to hear the truth. They don't want you to know the prophecies and the predictions and the things that I see and others who are actually legit actually see. And it's not Michael Jackson singing at the White House because Trump became president, like some claim. Or Princess Diane writing her memoir. Not happening, folks. It's now April. Not happening. They are gone. May they rest in peace. They were murdered, all of them. But Take a look. Beautiful Sedona, Arizona. I wanted to catch up with you all today and just put a couple of those things out and talk to you about a couple of those things. Let you know about the new platform that's going to launch in a couple of days. Hopefully, maybe even by tomorrow. I just got to go work out the tier levels and such. But I got bombarded by clients. So I haven't been around in a couple of weeks, planting my garden, getting everything going. But I had to come in today. I had to go get all my hair cut off. So when I did, and it's all cut off, big time, I figured I'd stop by the park and say hello to you all with infinite love and gratitude. Don't forget to subscribe down below. I'll be back within the next couple of days, within the week, with very precise predictions, precise information, and more for all of you. So remember to celebrate life, celebrate you, celebrate the amazing blessings and miracles of abundance, joy, and happiness that flow into your life each and every moment of every day. The more you do, the more you'll get. The more you complain, the more you'll get to complain about. Love and light, signing off, Spiritman JT. Have a great day.